Hello, happy Tuesday. It's friend Jen coming to you from SoCal, and I wanted to tell you that I am cooking up something special here behind the scenes. Just a little surprise for you that it's going to be like a cozy little space to create and be inspired and cultivate our inner artists and share together. So more on that a little bit later, but first I'm going to need some input from you. So I'm hoping that you would share some of your own ideas as far as like what you would like to see more of from me, from my videos and my content and things I share, in order for me to really develop this creative space to be something that is going to be the most useful or most, I don't know, the most, so that you'll get the most out of it, I guess. So pardon my blah, 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 blah. Okay, so the question is, would you like to see more inspiration and more creative prompts? Would you like information about specific art materials and techniques and things like pastels, oil, acrylic, palette knife use, those kinds of things? Or do you want specific related content to subject matter, landscapes, portraits, abstracts? Or also, do you want these kind of quick shares, or do you want a little bit more in-depth art lessons, so to speak, or guidance? So your feedback means the world to me because it's going to help me create something that you want. We're kind of co-creating this, and I would really appreciate it if you could just drop a comment when I'm done with this video today so that it helps me create something special for you. And I'll tell you more about that a little bit later. But for now, I'm going to do a colorful landscape in gouache, and I want to get started. I can see a couple people are here, and I just can't see. It's so weird. I don't know why I can't see who's here when they're here. But anyway, I'm going to get started now. I'm going to flip you around. Pardon me while I squint and you see my wrinkles. Love it. So here we go. I'm flipping you around. I've gone ahead and prepared this very, very vibrant background with acrylics. So I've prepped my paper. It's just a journal paper with some fluorescent red acrylic paint. And I'm going to try to zoom in here a little bit if I can. I don't know if it's going to let me do that. I don't think it is. So I'm going to scooch this over so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. I have these handy dandy gouache paints that I love the colors of. And this is just a white board that I like to use for, it's easy to like use it as my palette so I can mix up colors and then just go to town and wipe it off afterwards. I have some extra white gouache because I'll go through a lot of white. And as you can see, I am a very naughty double dipper. So I don't necessarily encourage that much double dipping, but what I like about double dipping is you're kind of getting a little bit of every color in your colors. So it creates harmony throughout the piece, but of course, if you create mud first, that might not be a good thing. So be a little careful not to get too much dipping in your double dipping. Okay, so let me grab one more thing and we'll get started with just a super colorful landscape piece. And that's Josie trying to get in. Here we go. Okay. All right, I'm using some kind of fancy brushes. Oh, I forgot my water. Oh, dang, that's not good. Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. All right, I don't know how far we'll get, and I don't even know what this is gonna turn out like, but it's gonna be fun. Doesn't matter. Oops. Oh, that's not good. I'll skip that. All right, I am gonna go right in and create a horizon line in the background here. So in order to do that, I'm gonna take some purple and some little bit of white because that's a splash too dark. And I'm gonna mix some of this up. Now gouache, if I want it to be a little wetter, I can go ahead and add some water. If I want it to be a little more workable and flowy, I can certainly do that. I'm also gonna pick up a little teal because I'm gonna throw a little bit of that and some blue in the background too. See how when you double dip, you create these more neutral colors and they're really lovely together. But sometimes you want just a super intense, stark pop of color. So double dipping, you know, may not be what you want to get more of a contrast or a pop, say, of complementary colors or whatever. But I do like the more neutralized colors. So I'm going to just go right in and start creating some landscape horizon line here. So this is where the sky meets the land. And I'm using this brush very loosely. I'm holding it far from the edge and I'm loosely getting these colors in. And I want to leave a little bit of that orange to come through my painting. I know this is like kind of hurts your eyes in the very beginning, but orange is the complement to blue. Pardon me. Orange is the complement to blue, and there is going to be a lot of blue in this, so that's why I went ahead with this orange background. And I'm sorry if you have any questions or anything and I can't see them. I will be happy to address any questions at the end of the little session here. And I want a more light blue to be coming through here too. Over here. So I'm being mindful. One thing I learned in Alyssa Monk's workshop recently was, because I tend to like do a lot of layers in my work, generally speaking, and she was really encouraging being more mindful of each brush stroke so that you don't have to go in and cover it up or change it or blend it or whatever. It's going to be a little bit tougher to do that while I'm talking through this process and whatnot, but I will try to be mindful, but that would also be maybe a little bit boring for you guys if I'm just like quietly thinking about each brush stroke as I go. And that's not necessarily how I roll anyway, but anyway, okay. So I'm just getting that horizon line in so I have a sense of where my painting, where my trees are going to be, or my hills and my grass and whatnot. I want to have a road on my painting, in my painting. So I'm going to do a little of that, and I'm going to mix some of this in here and just get a little road coming through here. Okay, that was an intentional brush stroke. Good job, Jen. Okay. Okay, I'm trying not to overcover, which is tricky, challenging for me. All right, and I do want to get some of this sky blocked in back here. And I think I want, no, I don't want it super tealy. I want this blue mixed with, another thing that Alyssa does is she mixes up all of her colors ahead of time, or she mixes many of her colors ahead of time so that she has all of these beautiful blobs of color ready to go. And then she can dive right in, and she's not mixing as she's going and stopping and mixing as she's going. She can really just focus on where she wants to place her color and her brush marks and how she wants that to look. And yeah, I like that idea. I thought about doing that today, but then I thought, maybe not. Okay, so I'm just blocking in some blue here into the sky, and I'm going to have a big tree here, so I'm not going to go overboard. I might just get a little bit of some sky so it's poking through the tree here and there. Okay, I'm not sure exactly where my tree is going to go, but I want it to go somewhere around there. And I'll probably vary the blues in my sky because I love to vary colors. And the cool thing is about gouache, if you don't like where you put something, all you got to do is wipe it out with this acrylic background, which is cool. And that even just gives you an interesting variation of like blended areas and more stark areas, sharper edges, blended edges, that kind of a thing. All right, I'm gonna move these. Well, it's okay. I do need some water. Yeah, whatever. Okay, put some of this over here. I think I want some of this purple coming down into this area over here. That's pretty. So I'm being mindful of the direction of my brush. I'm not going the same direction. I'm being intentional about moving my brush in different directions to get a variety of marks. Variety is really something that makes a painting interesting. You know, if it's all the same density or opacity of color or transparency of color, say, and there aren't things that pull your attention around the painting, then it might not be as interesting. So it's something I'm thinking about as I'm painting. I'm going to add a little of this in here. Maybe some tracks there. I want some yellow, but I want yellow with white. I'm running out of white, and my extra white gouache is hard to open right now. It's going to be a pain. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Let's see how this is pretty. This has a green tint because I double dipped too much. I got overzealous with my double dippage. So I need to add a little bit of pink or red. I'm going to try this and see how this does to warm it up and reduce that pink, because the opposite of green is red. And so to get rid of that green, I'm going to add maybe a tiny bit of this red. And yeah, I mean, I still would like it a little bit brighter, so I'm going to add a little of that orange too. This session is probably going to go a little bit longer than my normals, just because. Okay, let's see. Ew, that's not like that. That's a go. It needs to be wider. So I'm not going to focus on that right now. Let's see. I'm going to get this. Okay, there we go. All else fails, use your teeth to open it. Just kidding. Don't do that. But I just did. Okay. I want some pink, so I'm going to grab some of that. And I want it to be a lighter pink. Really, really, really light. And I think another thing you can do to make something to keep variety in your painting is vary your brush sizes. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to get some pink marks in here. In the sky. Okay, this is kind of shaping up to be interesting so far. Okay. And I think I will pull to take that orange and I'm going to mix it with a little yellow and a little white. This is a nice clean white. So I can try and get some, like that. And if I get too much, I can wipe it out. Okay, I want to give a sense of sunlight in the background. Okay, that's good. Then I want this. I think I want this to be chartreuse. I want this to be pretty green. So I'm going to mix that super vibrant yellow with a little of this and see what we get. That might be like, woo, too much. I'm going to try a little of that. Ooh, hello. That's pretty vibrant. Oh, I can always knock it back if I need to. So I'm going to see. I'm going to add a little orange to it too. And kind of create like a pastery area back in here. I just covered up my hills. That's okay. I can reestablish some hills. That's all right. And we're just playing. I kind of like that. I love that up against that magenta is really pretty. So I think I'm going to go with that theme a little bit here. Okay. And I'm going to throw some of this into this tree by just slapping. Try not to overthink it. I'm going to slap some of this green in here a little bit where this tree is going to be. And do a couple. Okay. That's kind of cool. And get okay, I'm going to leave that there. And I'm going to work towards a little bit of an earthier green. So if I want to take the green I was working with and make it a little earthier, I can add a little red, and that's going to give me an earthier green. It's a little light, but the nice thing is when you're working with colors that you've already put in the painting, like I said before, it creates harmony. I want it to be darker. I want some dark, I want a little dark earthy green in here. So I want to get some of this in here. A little bit over here. And then I want some shadow in my tree. So I'm going to establish some of that back in here. And I'm still paying attention and not covering all of this up in the background because I want little pops of this orange to come out here and there in the painting. Okay, I'm going to add some of this red to this, get kind of a grayish, more of a gray green. And want the shadow. I'm going to add a little blue to this. And then I'm going to use a smaller brush to get some shadows back here in this, where this tree is going. I'm going to try a completely different shape of a brush now. And probably use it on its side a little bit I might add a little of that to it. Oh, that's pretty kind of neutrally blue-green. And let's just get some of that in there. And down here, that's not quite dark enough. Darkest area, now I'm adding more red. That's going to be purple, so I'm going to need to add some yellow or something to this to get it to green up, because I want it more like a green-gray. Okay. I got that. And I'll probably have a couple more trees kind of coming off to the side. Okay. And I'll just do that to get like tree trunks and whatnot in there. Okay. And I'll add a little bit of the shadows and things over here. Maybe this is some pretty greenery. Get some interesting things over here. And I need a little of this. So yeah, I would so appreciate, ooh, that's a pretty purpley gray. I would really appreciate if you wouldn't mind leaving me a comment about the things that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, which is kind of what you would like to see more of, or what would inspire you more creatively, more information in my videos and posts about specific subjects like animals, like how to paint or draw animals or people, or more kind of abstractly expressing yourself. That's one area that I would love to get your feedback in, as well as like materials. Do you want to see more information around oil, gouache, pastels, those kinds of things? Do you want more information around or content videos about color and color mixing and color use? That's also something that you may be more interested in. So it would be super helpful for me to create something meaningful and useful for you if you gave me some input so that I can work on this little surprise I have that I'm putting together in order to share a very cozy little creative space together and stay inspired together and learn and grow together. So yeah, that would be fantastic. And I feel like this is probably a good place to stop, because I have a lot of that hideous orange covered and I've got some fun colors happening here, and I don't want to I'm going to add a little of this over here. I don't want to overdo it and go too far, take it too far and be annoyed with myself. So I'm going to stop right there. Okay, good place to stop. And I'm going to flip it. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. I can't see who it is. I hate that. First thing I'm going to do when I get off today, after I wash my hands, is I'm going to ask ChatGPT, how do I make sure I can see who's on my live video so I can actually talk to you. And I think for the next one, I will see if my very dear friend will hop on and help me and notify me if there's a question or something, so that we can actually be engaged. Because when I first started doing these, we were more engaged. I could see questions. I could see comments. I can't see diddly squat now. I don't know what I did to screw it up. But anyway, thank you for being here. Please share what you would like to see more of from me in the comments, because it's going to help me create something more meaningful and inspiring for you. And I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. I will not see you because I will be flying. So I will need to switch that and put that in my Facebook feed. But I will do that. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Stay inspired, stay creative, stay kind and curious. And thank you. Thanks for being here. It means so much to me. Bye.